Okay, so hello and welcome to the first ever podcast for the Westmorland Cricket League, the first ever. I'm proud to be making history today with three guests, Tim Mansfield, Mark Holmes and Stuart Powers. We've sort of made a couple of changes to the way the league is run and is a work in progress. But I've been appointed to a new position on the committee as the social media and communications officer for the league. And one of the ideas I had was to start a podcast, which we hope will drive up interest in the league. So without further ado, I'm going to go around the guests and I'd like them to just introduce themselves. So I'll go first. So I have introduced myself a little bit already, but for those that don't know me, I'm involved at Westgate Cricket Club. I have been for 10 years now. Played for them at junior level and senior level. I became an umpire. I was appointed to the panel last year, which I've absolutely loved. I've done the social media for Westgate and the website for the last 5 years as well. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the season. Stuart, if you'd like to go next.
Yeah, so I'm Stuart Powers. I'm the second team vice captain at Heisham and also kind of general doer of stuff around it down at Heisham.
Excellent. Thank you, Stuart. Mark, if you'd like to go next.
Yeah, I've been involved with local cricket for probably 15, 20 years within this area, the Western League and the Northern League. I've been a former chairman at Carnforth Cricket Club and also a league umpire in the Westmorland League and in the Bolton Association. At the moment, I'm sort of freelance. I don't have an official connection to a club. YouTube videos always entertaining, I think. I do help out a little bit at Carnforth when I can with tactics, etc., and preparing for the new league.
Excellent. Thanks, Mark and Tim. Last but not least.
Thanks, James. Yes, I'm Tim Mansfield. I've been secretary of the Westmorland Cricket League for just over 3 years. Before that, I played for Shire's Head for 30 years and started umpiring in 2012 and do various leagues, including the Westmorland League.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys. So, yeah, just obviously the season's only a couple of weeks away. It's exciting times. I'm very excited with everything that's going on. COVID's sort of behind us, but not really at the same time. But just how's the winter been for you guys? So Stuart, you know, no cricket for the last few months. What have you been up to?
We're pretty lucky at Heisham with sponsors and access we've got. So 315, the gym actually gave us fitness sessions. So we've had a good turnout for the last 6 weeks. Some lads losing a bit of weight, other lads toning up, whatever it is. You'll notice us all 10 mile an hour faster around the outfield when we start playing. And yeah, we've had winter nets as well. So yeah, so we've had a bit of cricket and actually a bit of bonding recently, team bonding, which has been really good. So yeah, we've had a good start to the season, I think. We're looking to have a good start to the season.
Excellent. Well, it certainly sounds like you've done a bit more than Westgate have, which might bode well when it comes to the title race in Division 1 this year. So how sort of confident are Heisham feeling this season when it comes to, you know, Division 1? You know, there's no Carnforth now in the first division, and Heisham did pull off some very good results last year. Sort of how are you feeling really with that? I know you don't play in the first team, but what's the mood in the camp?
Pretty confident, I would say. I think we definitely have aspirations of winning that first division this season. I think we had a players meeting last night. One of the conversations around that was wanting to win the league. We all felt that even with Carnforth, if Carnforth had stayed, we would still have a good chance of winning that league this year. So yeah, confident for us, maybe ours to lose.
And as far as like the makeup of the team has gone, has there been any incomings and outgoings? I mean, you had Cassidy on your books last year from Morecambe. What's the situation with him? And has there been any people come in, any people gone, any exciting names that we can see this season?
First team's looking like pretty much a similar makeup to last year. Yeah, we've not gone out of the way to start looking to poach players or anything like that this year. So yeah, pretty much the team you saw towards the back end of last season is the team that we will be putting out.
Excellent. And Tim, when it comes to you, obviously you've umpired and watched a lot of games through your umpiring and the positions on the league. From what you saw of Heisham last year, how do you think they will do this coming season?
I think it's always dangerous to make predictions, isn't it? But I think Heisham have got to have a very good chance. They last won the league, believe it or not, in 1961, when Josh Dixon's grandfather was captain. So some time since Heisham have won it. I think they have got the right blend of players. Be interesting to see whether Sam Calverley bowls his spin again or whether he's back to his medium pace. But yeah, good side.
And Mark, you know, you watch the Westmorland League. I don't know how much, but did you get to see Heisham much last season? And if so, what did you make of them?
I did get to see them last season. They were very impressive. I watched quite a lot of Westmorland League cricket. I saw every team in the first division last year at least once. Tim's point about, I thought he was a bit disparaging there about Sam Calverley being medium pace. He's a bit faster than that, but I personally think if Heisham have got a really balanced team, and I personally think if Sam Calverley continues bowling spin, that's far better for them. He was very, very accurate. They've got a really good blend. If they keep both Cassidys there, and I don't know whether Lewis Plackett will be there this year. He played a bit last year. I can't see past Heisham at all at the top. They're definitely at the top there. There's a couple of teams that might push them, I think, but I think it's theirs to lose so far as the Westmorland League goes.
Excellent. And you know, as you mentioned, sort of your involvement at Carnforth. I was umpiring at Carnforth quite a bit last season, so got to see what their first team were about. I've never had the chance to see Heisham myself. How do they compare to Carnforth?
Different, really. I think probably Carnforth are probably more settled in the batting. Heisham have got good all-round skills, but I think Carnforth's steady batting early on stands them in good stead. But when you do get 2 or 3 wickets against Carnforth, the middle order shoot, because Ryan Nelson and Chris Parry bat a lot, very often the middle order don't get a bat. So if you can get through them, they are vulnerable. I mean, this coming year, Martin Stretch is going to be available again. He was injured in the home game against Heisham last year. Ruptured his Achilles. He's a decent bat. He'll be available. He bowls off spin. And there has been another local all-rounder at nets a couple of times. I can't name at the minute, but hopefully he joins. And it's not who you're thinking, it's someone else. So don't smile at me like that, James. So there has been another guy there, and so hopefully he'll come. The first team's broadly going to be the same as it was last year, I think.
If it is who I think you're mentioning, he's staying at Westgate. But anyway, moving on. In terms of other sort of challengers this season, Tim, who else do you think will be up there in Division 1 this year?
I think there'll be a pack challenging Heisham. I think Shire's Head have got a number of decent young players. I'd like to see Adam Murphy, who played all of the second team for all season for the second team last season, but they put him in the first team at Carnforth and he got 80 odd from memory. I'd like to see him play regularly. And Dave Jack, Tom Jakes is captaining again this year. So I think Shire's Head will be challengers. I think Sedgwick, potentially. Tom Ridley was a fine acquisition for them last season. They've got some good young players coming through. I think the unknown quantity will be Kendall Seconds. They've got an overseas amateur, a 24-year-old fast bowler from New Zealand, plus Sam Fletcher's gone there from Windermere. And I think perhaps playing more locally means that they will get a stronger team out. But we all know, don't we, that the strength of second teams depends on first team players' availability a lot of the time. So we'll have to see. And then Westgate are the others that I don't believe Dylan Conroy can average 14 again as he did last season. He's too good a player to do that. And I believe Craig Buchanan is back, and Craig is a good batsman that they can build an innings around. So I expect Westgate to be stronger than they were, and I could see any of those five winning the league this year.
And just going back to Heisham, there's the Myler Cup coming up. I mean, as far as if I remember rightly, Stu, did Heisham get quite far in the Myler Cup last year?
We got through the first round. We beat can't remember the names.
Vernon Carris.
Yeah, but we beat Vernon Carris, who for us actually to beat them, that was a decent moment for us as a club, especially considering they'd gone on to win the Palace Shield League they were in, didn't they? And we'd heard that they were going to be a good side, and we won quite not comfortably, not convincingly, but we won. And then we ended up with Shire's Head, who Heisham just play Shire's Head in the cup competitions. That's the way the draw works every year. So even when we're in a Palace Shield competition, we still draw Shire's Head. And we should have beaten them, but we didn't. Got through to that would have been the second round, or if there was any buys or whatever. But we only played the two games in that cup competition.
Thank you. So, when it comes to sort of the upcoming season, obviously there are other divisions to Division 1 as well. Just looking at the opening fixtures for Division 1, though, with the teams that we've spoken about, Shire's Head have Burnieside at home. Heisham actually have no game on the first weekend of the season on the 16th. Westgate have Arnside. Sedgwick away at Trimple. I'm umpiring that. The only other game is Bear against Milnthorpe. And you've got Arnside, Sedbergh, Heisham against Burnieside, Kirby Lonsdale against Shire's Head, and Wharton against Milnthorpe. But I'm keen to move on from Division 1. Looking at Division 3, really, Stuart, with you being involved at Heisham. I remember when, because I'm involved at Westgate third team as a vice captain, I remember when we played Heisham, it was the very first game for us as a side. How are you guys feeling about that this season?
Pretty good. Again, I think we had the COVID season, then we had last season as a bit of a kind of regrouping exercise for that team within the third division. I think the issue we had for the R2s was kind of player availability, more kind of maybe around the ones, which meant we were pushing better second team players into the first team. But next season, hopefully with the pool of players we've got, and people's availability hopefully been a bit better, and everyone's had the kids now, so they can't use that excuse. We've all got them now, so we should. I mean, the second team with our full side out should do all right in that league, if not go up. I think we finished third, didn't we, last season? I think Ambleside were decent. We gave them a good go both times, but Ambleside were decent. Can't remember who else it was that went up. Sedgwick. Yeah, Sedgwick twos. Yeah, good side. Good bowling, and decent batting there. We had two good games against them as well. I think those two teams were definitely stronger than us last year. But I think we'll be confident again with our second team in that third division. and hopefully we've got a team in the second division next season and a first team somewhere.
When it comes to Division 3, just looking at it, on side, I've always find can be good on their day. With the likes of Ed Hart, when he's not in the first team, he can always get runs. You've got one or two good bowlers for Arnside with Sam Till if he's around. Lee Pigeon, you can always rely on him every now and again. But one team that always seems to be a hard side to face in Division 3 is Galgate. Now, Mark, what sort of experience do you have of Galgate?
They're a funny side because they've only got one team. They obviously they're going to struggle squad wise because they've only got one team. They can't drop anyone to the seconds. It almost looks to me, season to season, that they almost get up near the top and then have a bit of a blowout at the end. They're quite a hard team, a tough team to play against. I think sometimes people take that the wrong way. A bit like a town team, there's a bit of rough and tumble about them, but they play the game hard and tough. Sometimes they go over the top, I think, a little bit, but without doubt, they're a talented side. I mean, Dave Morgan, he's a decent bat, he is. The time's coming for them to get out of Division 3, I think, and into Division 2. But looking at it, I think it's quite a strong league again. I mean, Heisham seconds they're going to be up there, probably with Galgate. Who knows what's going to happen with Morecambe? So I think probably Heisham and Galgate and Arnside are probably going to be up there. Galgate, good hard team. I like they're a gritty team. Good to watch.
And Tim, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, I declare a little bit of an interest as I can see the Galgate ground from where I'm sitting at the moment. But new captain this year, Chris Beals, has taken over, who had a good season at Westgate, perhaps 7 or 8 years ago in the first team at Westgate. They just need 2 or 3 more genuine cricketers, and they'd be a good side.
Yeah, and there's a new team that have come into Division 3 as well in Kendal Thirds. We spoke a little bit about the seconds coming into Division 1. They did quite well in Division 4 last year. I remember when we faced them last year, they were a good side with a mix of experience and youth as well. So when it comes to clubs like Kendal, clubs like your Netherfields, Carnforth as well included in that because they have the 3 sides and a strong junior section. How important do you think, Tim, that a club having such a strong junior section with the clubs we mentioned? How important is that going forward? And as a result, how do you think Kendal Thirds might do this year?
Again, it all depends on player ability. I mean, I think for clubs like Morecambe, Netherfield, Kendal, those more junior teams are actually critical to the future of their clubs because that's where they blood the future players. So somebody like Mark Woodhead, I remember him playing for Morecambe Thirds and Fourths, and he became one of the best amateur batsmen in the Northern League for a number of years. But people have got to learn their game somewhere, and they do. So Kendal, with the Yarker lads, did very well last year. It'll be interesting to see which team they play in next season. And of course, they've got a young lady who won the under-19 bowling for Division 4 last season. So they've got ability throughout of Kendal Thirds.
And Mark, if you've seen much of Carnforth Thirds, what sort of a state of play there?
Seen lots of them last year because they play on Sundays. That was a really good initiative from the league. Sort of Westgate benefited, and Carnforth and Netherfield play your home games on Sundays. good for the club in all ways. Just managed to stay up last year, very young side. And basically the selection is going to be the same again this year. Fill it with juniors and have enough adults to be in charge on the day and to drive to away games. So maybe 4 adults, possibly 5, and then the rest juniors, all down to under 13s. And as the other teams do, like we've seen, particularly at Westgate last year, I was impressed with them. Give these kids a go. Not like when I used to play. The first 2 years, you don't bat, you don't bowl, and you run all over the place looking after the ball. No, give the guys a chance, these youngsters, and they will come through. Plus, also, it's nice for their parents to see. I think all the 3rd teams in that division will look at it from the same point of view. Not particularly about winning, although you've got to win a couple. It's about bringing the juniors on and bridging the gap and having your 3 senior captains on the same page when you're looking at how the club's going to progress. That's how I see it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. And I mean, with speaking from experience with Westgate, when I was, a junior at Westgate, we didn't have a 3rd team. And so I started out in the 2nd division, and it wasn't particularly good for my development, although there was 1 or 2 good experiences. It was fine leg to fine leg most weeks. But it is great that we have that now. And it's great to see, so many sort of 3rd and 4th teams in these lower divisions. But just looking at Division 4 now as well, I mean, there's a new side in there, Tim, in Ulverston. Now, you will have been involved, from the league management committee, in their application to join the league. So what was the backstory of that?
I think it's very similar to clubs like Westgate and Sedgwick. They've seen that they want to be playing their 13, 14-year-olds in senior cricket. The Cumbria League is probably too strong for them on a Saturday. So to get some of these lads in to play on a Sunday, and I think that's good for them. And I think it'll be hopefully a nice experience for our teams to go somewhere they haven't been before, and hopefully a decent track and a decent ground. Mark probably knows from the old North Lancashire days a bit more about Ulverston, because I've only been there in the dark.
Well, it'll link quite nicely when we talk about Heisham's bike ride with Stu later, because Ulverston joining the league probably adds a bit of extra miles to the journey around the Westmorland League grounds. But just looking at Division 2, Ambleside have come up, like you said, Stu. Carnforth seconds in the 2nd division again. I umpired Carnforth a couple of times last year as well. And Mark, I believe Carnforth have a new captain in the 2nd division.
They do, yeah. Adam Holmes is going to be captain in the 2nd team. And he's very keen on it. He does take out of our batting from the 1st team, but he's very keen on doing it. He's going to be assisted by our club coach, Graham Dodds. And what they're looking to do is obviously do well in the league, but also provide that bridge between the youngsters and also providing players for the 1st team. Some of last year's 1st team, some of the fringe players, are going to be playing regular in the 2nd team, particularly a couple of guys that play football. They're not going to get direct back into the 1st team again. Carnforth section is going to be strong. I think it's going to be a really good battle this year for that 2nd division.
Yeah, and I mean, that's partially where Westgate come in there because of, how well they've done previously. But there are some strong 2nd teams in there, Tim, competing with the first teams. Shire's Head, quite a strong team in Division 2 as well.
I think Carnforth will be the side to beat, probably with Silverdale. I think Westgate will miss Peter Wilson, who reportedly has now finally hung up his bowling boots, and Simon Gould for Shire's Head isn't going to be fit. So I understand, but it'd be interesting. They've got a new 2nd team captain in Mike Mead, who I think is a good cricketer, has experience of playing a bit at Chorley firsts and more regularly Chorley seconds. So it would be interesting to see how he does as captain.
And Home are always one of the strong sides in that division as well.
They are, and they actually underperformed last year, I think, Home.
Okay, so moving on, we've spoken about all 4 divisions there. Now, as mentioned briefly earlier, Stuart's partly on to talk about this bike ride that Heisham are doing in preparation for the new season. Also a fundraiser. What's the reasons behind doing it, Stuart?
So definitely a fundraiser and absolutely not preparation for the coming season, because I think we'll probably break a few lads doing this. Essentially, I'm a keen cyclist. As a bit of a project last year, I plotted every Westmorland League ground into a route planner to see if it would be possible to cycle around every ground. So I was looking to do it over a day, and I worked out that if we started at Cartmel, granted we were on top of a hill, which was a better place to start, but also it was about 135 miles, and I thought that might be doable in a day, so it might just be a little pet project. Anyway, we were talking about ways we could raise some money for the club to get some new training equipment, if we raised a bit to look at kind of updating our AstroTurf and netting facilities and stuff like that. And someone mentioned doing coast to coast. So I said, well, let's not do coast to coast. Let's do all these Westmorland League grounds. So we're starting at Heisham now and ending at Heisham, which has obviously added a few miles on. And then Tim shoved Ulverston into the league, which has obviously cost us another 10 miles. So we're now on, I think it's about 169 miles, I think it is, with about 9,000 feet of elevation over the 2 days. So yeah, it's been really good seeing other clubs get involved a little bit with it as well. So Morecambe have said they're going to open the clubhouse so we can have a little pre-celebratory pint when we're only a little pootle away from home. Netherfield letting us kip in the changing rooms and putting us up for the night, letting us use the clubhouse and stuff so we can have a few beers with their lads after they've finished nets and get some pizzas and bed down there. Yeah, but just to raise a bit of money. So we're ending at Heisham on the Friday night, and we've got a race night on there. So we've sold all the races, sold all the horses and the jockeys. There's been a few of us that have wanted to push the club on a bit more in terms of the kind of community stuff we do, I think, more than anything. So this is a start to that. We'd like to get out there and do some beach cleans, given our proximity. I'm looking because the sea is just there, and I'm just around the corner from the club. So yeah, I think the club's moving in the right directions on the pitch, and we're moving it in the right direction off the pitch, and try to just be a bit more of a community and a nice place for people to visit and play the cricket. So yeah, starting off, big, huge bike ride.
That's excellent to hear. And how many people have you got signed up so far?
So there's 8 of us, I think, that signed up for the full ride, and then we've got a few lads that might join us for little bits of it, start off with us, finish with us. I think there's a couple of lads from some other grounds are gonna do the kind of Lancaster to Heisham bit with us as well. So yeah, anybody that's interested, they can just get in touch with me or any of the lads from Heisham, and we'll kind of keep them up to date as to where we're going to be. I'm hoping that I'll be able to set up a live tracker so people can go on our Facebook page and they can follow us and see where we are. So that'll be something interesting to have a look at. And obviously, we've got the crowdfunder set up to raise a bit of money that way.
And Tim, are you doing the Westgate to Bear Part?
That's probably the height of my ambitions, James. I just think we did perhaps a favour that in the end Vickerstown didn't come into the league, and also we used to have Broughton in Furness and Kirby in Furness, and believe it or not, when the league started in '75, T-Bay were in it, so it could have been some longer trips for Stuart.
Yeah.
And
all those lot round the Furness Peninsula, I'd have probably been okay with. We're going that way now anyway, aren't we? But yeah, if somebody wants to lean on Sedbergh and Ingleton, because they're currently causing me like a 5 to 10 mile each way detour as well. So if those lads fancy not being in the league for a little while, that'd be helpful.
It's a good job Penrith aren't still in the league.
I know, yeah.
You don't want to be. I don't know how you get to Penrith, but cycling up the motorway probably not the safest thing to do. Maybe in the hard shoulder, but it's the quickest way to get there in the car. But yeah, as far as that goes, then I mean, weather next couple of days. We're recording this on the 29th of March. I've had people at work telling me today that it's going to snow in the next couple of days, but hopefully it'll be good weather for you, and it'll make for a good sort of start to the summer, as it were.
Yeah, as long as it's dry and it's not too windy, we'll be all right, I think. Yeah, it's supposed to get a bit miserable tomorrow, isn't it? But I'm cycling into work, whatever it does. So yeah, I'm hardened to it now.
Excellent. I'd probably do the same if I didn't have a puncture, but that's a different story. So how can people get in touch with you if they want to fundraise? I believe there's a fundraising link.
Yeah, so we set up a crowdfunder page that we're going to, as we're kind of getting closer to now, we'll promote a bit more heavily on the Facebook page. So the link is up there, but we'll do a bit more of a social media push over the next few days. So people should hopefully see the crowdfunder page, or they'll definitely be able to find it on our Facebook. We've got, if people are a little bit analog and old school, we have got some people knocking about with some pieces of paper that you can use to write down your details and chuck us a few quid cash. I think we're on the first day stopping at Carnforth as well for a little bit of a slightly longer stay. It's not very far into the ride, but the lads have said that they'll help us out and they want to support us. So I think there might be some bucket rattling at Carnforth as well. So yeah, a few options, and if any other clubs want to get involved, that's great. And it's been really nice for clubs to reach out to us actually and say, yeah, we'll put a spread on for you, or we'll let you kip over, or we just want to join you for a bit, whatever. It's been really nice, to be honest.
Excellent. Thank you for that, and all the best with that. So it was a really good initiative when I came across it, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, will you come on the podcast? So it's been a pleasure to have you on. Tim, is there anything you sort of want to add? Maybe any key dates before the season starts? I think there's a play cricket. It's the play cricket training session next week.
Yeah, that's on the 7th of April at Carnforth Cricket Club, where we're hoping that people that need a bit of training on the registration on play cricket can attend. But we'll be looking to do a crib sheet, and also, I think James, you'd suggested possibly a YouTube video as well, so people can do it that way. And I think the advantage is that I'm not a great user of the play cricket site other than to look at scores, but I understand that it makes actually uploading the scorecards easier if the opposition have got all of their players already on there.
Excellent. Thank you there. Stuart, did you want to come in there?
Yeah, just to say, I after seeing Tim's message about it, I had to go at registering myself, and it was very easy to put anyone's mind at ease as long as the players are registered. So, yeah, we're trying to get all our players fully set up on play cricket. But yeah, once they're all done that, it's very, very easy.
Excellent. Thanks for the message of support there. But thank you everyone for joining today. We're hoping to do this every month with different guests on from different clubs. So thank you very much, guys, for being part of the first Westmorland League podcast, and all the best for the season, Stu, and Mark. I mean, you don't play Mark now, but all the best, Tim, as well. I'm sure we'll be in touch probably tomorrow. But I look forward to seeing how Heisham do. Good luck with the cycle ride, and thank you for coming on tonight, guys.
No problem. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.